Welcome to this episode in our Leadership and AI live stream series. This episode is titled Why Most Founders Are Losing the AI Race Before It Even Starts. 90% of the founders I talk to have already spent money on AI. Most of them have little to show for it. Not because the tools don't work, not because they chose the wrong platform, not because they needed a bigger budget or a more technical team, because they skipped the one step that makes the tools work. I'm Brett Thomas. I help small and mid-sized founders and business leaders implement AI quickly, confidently, and strategically. I've spent my career helping founders adapt to change and scale their success, and I've documented that experience across 20 books on management, leadership, and AI. For the past several years, I've been deep in the trenches, helping businesses actually implement AI. I've seen what works, what doesn't, and I have a very clear picture of why. What I'm about to share with you is the pattern behind the most common and most expensive mistake I see in AI implementation right now. Here's the conventional story about why AI adoption is slow. Founders don't know which tools to use. The landscape is confusing. The options are overwhelming. If we could just simplify the tool selection problem, adoption would follow. That story is wrong. And the consulting industry is making a lot of money telling that wrong story. Here is what is actually happening. AI adoption fails because founders are automating broken processes. Think about what that means. When you automate a broken process, you do not fix the process. You get a faster, more expensive, higher volume version of the exact same problem. The dysfunction scales, the errors multiply, and because the AI is producing output at a rate no human could match, the damage actually accumulates faster, sometimes than you can catch it. Tool selection is not the bottleneck. It has never been the bottleneck. Process architecture is the bottleneck, and until you address it, every AI investment you make is building on an unstable foundation. In my book, Management in AI, I lay out the process before automation framework in precise terms. There are 3 steps. Every one of them must happen before you touch a tool. Here they are. Step 1, map the process first. This sounds obvious, but almost no one does it. You cannot automate what you cannot see. And most founders have never actually mapped the processes they're running. They've just run them, adapted on the fly, and handed them off informally over time. The process exists in people's heads and Slack threads and habits that nobody ever wrote down. Before you automate anything, you need to be able to draw it. Every step, every decision point, every handoff, every place where work passes from one person to another or from one tool to another. If you cannot draw it on a whiteboard in 5 minutes, you do not understand it well enough to automate it. And here's what mapping almost always reveals. The process has more steps than you thought, more ambiguity than you realized, and at least 2 or 3 points where the current approach doesn't even make that much sense. You find those things on paper before the AI touches it. That's the point. Step 2, identify the failure points. Once the process is mapped, you run a specific diagnostic, not where can AI help? That's the wrong question at this stage. The right question is, where does this process break down right now? Where does work get delayed? Where do errors consistently pop up? Where does quality drop off? Where does accountability disappear? The place where something is supposed to happen and nobody's quite sure who owns it. I want to say this as clearly as I can. Automation preserves failure. It does not eliminate it. If your sales follow-up process breaks down at the 3rd touch point because nobody on your team knows whose job it is to send it, and you automate that process, you now have a system that reliably fails at the 3rd touch point at scale every single time. The AI did exactly what you told it to do. You told it the wrong thing. Find the failure points on paper, fix them on paper, then automate. Step 3, build the human in the loop checkpoint. This is the step that separates founders who are building a durable AI infrastructure from founders who are running expensive experiments. A human-in-the-loop checkpoint is a defined moment in the automated process where a human being reviews, validates, and approves before the output moves forward. Not every step needs one, but every process that touches a client, produces a deliverable, or makes a decision with real consequences needs at least one. Here is the principle behind it. AI does not carry accountability. You do. That's a leadership thing. Your managers carry the accountability. Your team does. And if you remove all human judgment from a process in the name of efficiency, you have also removed all accountability. And you will find that out in the worst possible moment. The human-in-the-loop checkpoint is not a sign that you do not trust your AI systems. It's a sign that you understand how to deploy them responsibly. The most sophisticated AI implementations I've seen have all built this one in. The ones that produce the horror stories, the ones founders tell me about in the first 15 minutes of consultations, always left this out. 3 steps: map the process, find the failure points, build the checkpoint. That is process before automation. I want to invite you to pick one process right now, not hypothetically, just actually pick one. The process you've been thinking about automating, the one your team's been asking about, the one where you bought a tool 3 months ago and it's sitting there at 15% adoption. Run it through 3 diagnostic questions before you go any further. Question 1, can I draw this process on a whiteboard, start to finish, in 5 minutes or less, without asking anyone for help? If the answer is no, you're not ready to automate it. You have a documentation problem, not an automation problem. Fix that first. Question 2, do I know specifically where this process breaks down under normal operating conditions? And do I know why? Not in general terms, specifically. Which step, whose handoff, what decision? If you cannot name the failure point, you will automate it into the system and spend the next 6 months wondering why the AI is not working the way you intended it to. Question 3, have I identified the point in this process where a human being needs to review the output before it goes any further? If the answer is no, if your automation plan has no human checkpoint anywhere in it, you've not built a system, you've built a liability. 3 questions, 1 process. Answer all 3 questions honestly before you spend another dollar on the tooling. Here's what I see consistently across founder-led companies in the $1 million to $50 million range. The founders who move fastest with AI are not the ones who adopt the most tools. They're the ones who build the cleanest processes first and then automate those clean processes with precision. The ROI gap between those 2 groups is not marginal. It's the difference between compounding advantage and compounding complexity and cost and problems. Before you spend another dollar on AI software, answer those 3 questions about the processes you're trying to automate. If you cannot answer all 3, you're not ready to automate yet. And that is not a criticism, that's an assessment. It tells you exactly where to direct your energy before you open your wallet. The founders who understand this don't just save money on bad AI investments. They build something more valuable. They build a systematic understanding of their own operations. And when you bring AI into a well-understood, well-documented, well-governed process, the results compound in ways that badly deployed AI never can. That is the difference between AI theater and AI ROI. And if you want the full book, a course, and 4 AI agents that are designed to help you implement these frameworks inside your business, the ROI and AI Book Implementation Hub. It's at roiandai.com. I think that'll be very interesting to you. It comes with a book, a course, 4 AI agents to help you implement, and a 30-minute implementation consultation with me after you completed the course. I'm Brett Thomas with Integral Corporation, Integral Labs, and Integral Digital. Let's get moving in 2026. It's go time. And let's make sure we stay on the right side of that AI disruption curve. I'll see you in the next video.